All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hit the Books, Season 3, Episode 36, a little NHL, NBA playoff uh, recap, preview of the first round, some going into their second round matchups. Just me and Mackie this week. No Jesse, no Ace, just the two of us. Mackie, give yourself a little intro, and we'll get right into it for some of this playoff topics we got lined up.
Yeah, the NHL and NBA playoffs are kind of in full swing now. Rangers looked good, obviously with the 4-0 sweep in the first round, but a lot to dive into in these playoffs. There've been some really good series so far, and a few upsets as well. So we'll look into those.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll jump right into the NHL. Obviously, like you said, your Rangers 4-0 series sweep over the Capitals. Obviously, yeah, it's hard to pull good and bad things from a 4-0 sweep. It can't get much better than that. It can't, but we're going against Carolina next round. What would you say is one thing that you watch, because I know you watched all 4 games in that series, one thing that you're like Carolina could capitalize on us in this way?
I see. I don't want to say we did anything wrong because you really don't do much wrong in a 4-0 series sweep. But I mean, going into that series, I mean, you probably had them winning the series in four. I think I had them winning the series in four. I mean, they were supposed to win
Yeah,
that series in four. So basically,
they did. They just handled
they got
business.
the job done, exactly. They took care of business, they did what they needed to do. Was it the nicest, hockey that I've ever seen? Absolutely not. I mean, they really never dominated any game. They were obviously the better team in every game, but they never dominated at any point where we were like, "Holy shit, like, this team is it shouldn't even be here." Whereas if you looked at the Carolina, Islanders series, Carolina outshot them, like, triple in some games, like,
And
insane.
every time the Islanders got a lead, like here, I'll just say this one now because obviously these are the two teams
Right,
playing
right.
each other. Hurricanes defeat the Islanders 5 games series. Comes to a wrap on Tuesday night in a 6-3 Hurricanes win on home ice. Carolina's, like we said, looked dominant despite taking the series or taking 5 games to win that series. Let New York win. What was it? Double overtime. That's the most
Yeah, I
gentleman
mean,
sweep of all time. The lower seed wins the overtime game in double
keep
or
them
triple
alive for an
overtime.
extra 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. Carolina gets to go back to home ice to lock this up. Obviously, Hurricanes will take on your Rangers in the second round. What are you thinking? I know you're on the Rangers here. How many games do you think it's going to take? 6, 7?
I'm gonna say 7. I think that I
Yeah,
think both teams defend home ice for sure.
I was going to say, could you just see every team win their home games?
Yeah, but the Rangers have taken care of business against Carolina this year. That's the thing about this Rangers team is that they don't outplay anyone like insane. Like, they don't always look like the best team on the ice whenever they're playing someone, but they find ways to win games. They have 55 wins this year. They kept finding ways to get the job done and winning games, and that's what they did against the Capitals too. I mean, they didn't outplay the Capitals in every game, but they took care of business and found ways to win every single game. And I think they'll be fine against Carolina. I think there's going to be moments where we're going to be like, "Oh shit, we might be in trouble" because of the firepower that Carolina has, and we've seen that a
The,
million
their
times.
ability to score 2 goals in nine
Yeah,
seconds twice in the
exactly. And
series. That's
The
crazy.
Rangers have had that problem with giving up back-to-back goals, um, a lot this season. But I mean, you got to trust the defense. You got to trust Igor. You got to trust the top six forwards, even top nine. The third line has been awesome for us. You got to trust these guys to get the job done, and I really think that they will. I think that Carolina chokes every single year. They don't have the depth that the Rangers have, and this is going to be a really good series. Don't get me wrong; I am scared for it, but I'm more scared for the Western or the Eastern Conference Finals pending who we play, but I'm assuming it's gonna be Florida.
Yeah, that's what I think too. We will get, obviously, like I said, I think I think that's a hell of a series. That's the one that I think most of us predicted. Getting the Hurricanes Rangers matchup in that second round. When's that start? Do you know when game one is?
No, but we're both done, so they were saying, like, as soon as possible, hopefully Saturday, probably Sunday, but
I was gonna say probably
it could
Sunday.
even
That's
be
a little more
Monday.
realistic.
It could even be Monday, which would suck. It's over a week though.
That's so long
Yeah,
off.
it is. But Carolina also has a
That's
pretty long break as well, so
yeah,
I don't know. It's gonna be a
but
great series for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Who do
yeah,
you have it?
start.
Let's hear who you
I
have in it.
It's tough because like looking back at like rest
I
the Rangers have
understand.
yet
Listen, I understand
start.
if you say Carolina 100%.
I'm going with Carolina, but I'm deciding if I don't think I think Carolina has to win the series in 6 on home ice. If it goes back to MSG for Game 7, I think the Rangers
Yeah,
have it.
they're Carolina's a
Carolina has to win games 1 or 2 in New York before even playing a home game to see if they're, you know what I mean? That's their only chance to win the series in 6.
yeah, 100%. Because
You got to win. You got to win. It'd be nice if they get game 1, and you know what I mean? Obviously not for your sake, but for their sake, it'd be nice if they get game one. They really don't have to worry too much about game two. You get back to Carolina with a 1-1 series. That's a win in your book.
You
You know what
take
I
you
mean?
take home ice from the Rangers here, and they're definitely in trouble,
Yeah.
100%.
Who has a better power play? Because I think that's going to come into play a lot in this series.
Um,
These are two teams that are just known for scoring power play
I'm pretty
goals.
sure the Rangers do, but dude, the Rangers like
And the Rangers also have, don't they have the top 3 penalty kill in the
yeah,
league?
they do. Our special
Yeah.
teams is what makes us though. Like if you want to go back and look at those games against Capitals, like 3 out of 4 goals were on special teams. Like we get shorthanded goals out the ass too.
And I was going to say one was a
Yeah, we
shorthanded that game.
most like the majority of our goals are special teams. So the
Yeah.
5-on-5 could kill us, but I mean, I don't know,
No,
man.
I think you won't like I don't see either team losing the series in less than 6
Oh,
games.
it's going 6 games at least,
Yeah.
definitely. No
Yeah.
way it doesn't.
But is there a I bet I don't really care to look because it's so far in advance, but like I guarantee the over under for this series is probably set at, is it ever set at even games?
I don't
Like
think
could they
so.
set it
That's
at
the problem
6?
with over under games is that what are you gonna do? Set it at 6.5? Like that's like
Yeah, and just bet it to go 7. Everyone's gonna take the
everyone's
under.
gonna
You
take
know
the
what I
under,
mean?
even if it's gonna go over. I mean, like
And
you
they do
can't set it at
they'll
6.5.
do this will be at like this will be at like 5.5, but the over is gonna be like minus
I was
250
gonna
or
say
something
it's gonna
crazy.
be like minus 210 or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, the other side of the Eastern bracket, Florida defeats Tampa in 4 games to 1 as the series ended Monday in Fort Lauderdale with a dominating 6-1 series clinching victory. Panthers will await the winner of Aces Boston Bruins and Toronto for their second round matchup. Game 6 of the Leafs and Bruins tomorrow night back in Toronto. Um, Obviously, I think we were all on the Panthers there. You said 5, I said 6, just kind of respecting the Lightning a little bit. I think I did correct myself to 5 eventually. This Panthers team is so good. I think they're going back to the East Conference Finals. I don't care who they get, Boston or Toronto. I'm big on this Florida team. I think whichever team they get between Carolina and the Rangers, that's going to be a hell of a series. This Florida team, they're just so fucking deep, dude. It's like as soon as that, like for Hagee, Reinhart, Barkov, like their power play, Tarasenko. It's just like they got names on names, and then you go down to like the fourth line, guys like Lomberg, like they just have that style of play that's so annoying to play against, and they're so good at it. Obviously, coming off a cup run last year, I think they're gearing up for another one. They didn't waste any time dealing with Tampa Bay. I think that's a big series to get done in 5 games because I think this Toronto Boston series is going back to Boston for Game 7.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Let me get into the Panthers real quick. The last team that I want to see for sure. The star power up front. The thing about their stars up front is that they don't miss. Like they execute every single
Reinhardt is so
game,
good,
dude.
dude.
Reinhardt, Barkov had 2 last game before it was a blowout. He already had
Verhaeghe
2.
has all the
Verhaeghe
game
had
winners.
1. Like this, that
Kachuk, none of us
we
neither
didn't
of us
even name
named him.
Kachuk, and that's crazy to think about because he's not even a top 3 forward on that team. Maybe top
No,
3 impact, but I mean,
he's the biggest name, I'd say.
yeah, but like in terms of like skill
He's
and
not
like
the best
putting the
player.
puck in the
Yeah,
net, he's not top 3. Impact, that's a different story, but it's insane how deep this team is, and then they have Bobrovsky in net. I mean, like this is just
yeah.
the last
And he's doing exactly what he did last
yeah,
year.
exactly. But yeah, I think
It
Florida
is
gets the
crazy.
Eastern Conference Finals. On the other side, it's a series. It's definitely a series. I kind of thought it was gonna be over in 5, but I mean, you popped that one you popped that one in overtime, and you're right back there. You get to go home for a game 6. Um,
That that overtime goal for Toronto obviously not only saved the season, but like that gives you so much
dude,
juice and fire under your ass in Game
think
6.
about
And you're getting Matthews
think
back.
about where the Bruins were last year. Up 3-1. Go to game 5. Go to overtime. You lose to the Panthers. What is like, dude, it's the same exact situation. And here's the thing.
I like what I texted Ace. You go back to Hallmark.
I Okay, let's not even get into the goalies because if you don't play Swayman and you lose this series, I think Jim Montgomery should
Oh,
be fired. I don't care
he's
how good
fired,
his 2
dude.
seasons were. You haven't gotten out of the first
Yeah.
round. Um,
Yeah.
but I am gonna say the Bruins win this in 7. I really do think they do. And I said that the
Yeah.
Leafs would have it in 7 before it got to 3-1. But I mean, I don't think the Leafs can go into Boston game 7 and get a win. I really don't. And when you have Swayman in net, I know Joseph Wall's playing really well for the Leafs as well. But can you really see a scenario where the Leafs go into Boston game 7 and get a win? They haven't beat Boston in a series in
I
60 years.
Yeah, I also did. I originally said Boston in 6, so I did see this going back to Toronto for Game 6. Not the way that it's going. Um,
Yeah, you didn't expect
I
it like
just
this.
No, all the momentum has shifted
Oh
over
my
to
god.
Toronto, and the fact that they got that win without Matthews, like, if
Huge,
Matthews comes back
huge.
and they get another early lead like they did in game 5, I love this series to go 7, and who's the favorite? It has to be Toronto, like a -120?
In what, game 6? I'll
Yeah.
give you a
Toronto has to be like, slightly
yeah,
favored.
they're definitely favored in that game. They are
-130, maybe as deep as that?
minus 115, so it's tight. I mean, I also don't think Matthews is a go. Like, I think he's still gonna be
Dude, you
questioned.
gotta be a go in this game. How are you sitting
How do you
out?
sit out game 5? I mean, dude, he's gotta be down and out, dude, like,
Yeah,
104
like,
fever or something, like, he's gotta
you gotta be,
be.
like, hugging the
Yeah,
toilet, can't even
can't
put your
move,
skates on.
can't move.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, and whoever wins the series is just gonna probably in 5 games to the Panthers.
Dude, even if he could just dress and only go out on the power play.
I mean, dude, but what if he's that sick and you just,
Think of
like,
a roster
he has
spot. Yeah,
no,
imagine
like, no strength, no power, he has
yeah,
nothing,
I know
like,
what you mean. Yeah,
dude, he's gotta be so down bad if he's just missing these
they're
playoff
probably
games.
pumping him with IVs and
Yeah,
shit.
for sure. But
He's
you
getting
agree whoever
that.
runs into the Panthers, I mean, you just it's probably 5 games, they're
Yeah,
done.
I think this is a crash course to run into an even better team
Yeah, for
in the
sure.
next round for either of
It's
these
tough,
teams.
tough, but, this is definitely a great series. You know, Ace said it was gonna be 7 to begin with. I don't think he thought it would be
He did
7
say,
after
yeah,
3-1, but, I think we're
no,
looking at another 7-game series.
yeah, I do too. Let's jump out west. Colorado defeats Winnipeg in 5 games. The Avalanche won 4 straight after the Jets took game 1 of the series up in Winnipeg. Avalanche will await the winner of Vegas and Dallas for their second round matchup. What went wrong for your Western Conference champion Winnipeg
Alright, I
Jets?
did say
They,
it last week after I think it was
no, you did.
1-1,
I'm
might
just
have been
fucking with you.
2-1, but,
You said it was
I
over.
was like, yeah, I mean, this Avs team is so freaking good. They scored 5 plus goals in every single game in this series, even the loss, they lost
They
7-6.
did the same thing last year too to Vegas. They won game 1 and then they lost 4
You
straight.
might
That's 2 years in a row they've done that.
and dude, Hellebuck, I mean, he's winning a Vezina this year, and he shit the bed completely. Like, I know it's the Avalanche, another star power up front, but, I mean, he did not look like he was letting in softies left and right too. But,
And like you said all year, like Ace kept saying that I don't know how far this team could go with Georgiev, and you're like, dude, he doesn't need to win
dude,
games. They're gonna score 5 goals a
I think
game.
they gave up, like 3.5 goals a game in this series, and
And what they scored? 5.4?
more.
Like they
It's
still
probably
won
more,
every goal,
probably
but
more.
yeah.
It was probably like a
So game
6.
1 they scored 7.
No, they scored 6 in game 1, but they scored 6,
Oh yeah.
6, 5, 6. Like, it's, like, insane, dude. Like, this team is
Over 5.5
yeah,
goals.
this team
Yeah.
has so much star power and so much and they just don't miss. Like, they
Who's the guy that's on fire for them? Nichushkin, and who's the other one?
I don't know, is Rantanen. I haven't really watched a lot of
Lehkonen.
those games.
Arturi Lehkonen.
Oh, Lehkonen, yeah. I mean, dude, like, those
Yeah.
aren't, like and those aren't even top 3 players on the team.
No.
Like, you still have McKinnon, you still have Rantanen, you still have Makar, who's been an offensive
Lighting it up.
firepower in this
Yeah.
series. I don't know. I mean, this Avs team is definitely they gotta be the favorites to win the West now.
Yeah.
Because
For
I know
sure.
they had their problems at the end of this regular season, and everyone had their
They've
doubts. I
clearly
had my doubts, but this team just turned it on, man.
Yeah, they've clearly turned it around and fixed that problem. Like we said, Dallas, Vegas, all tied up in their series, 2 games apiece. Road teams have won every game this series as the series shifts back to Dallas tonight for Game 5. Who are you on the night? Who do you think wins Game 5? Obviously, by the time people are listening to this game will have already happened. But Game 5, going back to Vegas in Game 6, who's going to have the 3-2 series lead?
Yeah, you're probably gonna disagree with me here because I know you like your Knights, but I think the Stars win 4 straight. I think that they just kinda handled business on the road. They got back into the swing of things. I think they take care of business at home tonight. I could see them losing a game 6, but I think the Stars kinda have the series wrapped up even if it goes back to 7. It's giving me a lot of the same vibes as the Rangers Devils last year. Rangers win 2 on the road. Once you lose the 2 at home, I mean, dude, you're depleted. Like, you thought you had this series, and now you're sitting there and you don't have home ice anymore. Like, you just won 2 games on the road, and now you're sitting there with your dick in your hand
Yeah,
because you have to go
yeah,
on the road 2 more games against the number 1 seed in the West. I think the Knights are gonna have trouble winning this series for sure. I'm gonna go Dallas in 6, but could go 7.
yeah. I'm going to stick with Vegas in 7 in this series. I think I originally said 6. Wouldn't surprise me if they win this game tonight, but I think they will go home and handle business in Game 6 and at least force that Game 7. Like I said, Dallas loves losing Game 7 series. I could see that happen again. Vegas is just one of those battle tested teams. I think they could obviously get it done. Wouldn't be surprising to me if Dallas gets, like you said, wins 4 straight. like the Avalanche just did. They're obviously got the star power down there as well, the 1 seed in the West. Um, I definitely could see Dallas win tonight, go home, home, and home. But I would like Vegas to win this series in 7 if it makes it there. Obviously, if they win tonight, I'd take them in 6. So it just kind of depends. A pivotal game 5, you'd hate to go home with your backs against the wall, but at least you're going back home with a chance to force game 7. But that's a hell of a series out there. I'm excited to watch this one. Another matchup in the West that we have tonight. The Edmonton Oilers lead the LA Kings 3-1. Chance to clinch the series in 5 games tonight as the series heads back to Edmonton for game 5. Can the Oilers close things out while and rest up while these Canucks and Predators wrap up their series, or is this going to be going back to Staples Center for game 6?
Yeah, we're both on the same side of this one, and it's actually on the card tonight, so you gotta hope that they get the job done. But I think the Oilers closed it out. The only thing that scares me about this team is that they can just shit the bed anytime. Like they did it.
Yeah,
They did it in that one game in this series.
game that me and you
Yeah,
watched.
I mean, they just I mean, especially to the Kings too. I mean, the Kings kind of sketchy, and they're in the same division. They know each other a lot. The Oilers just, I mean, like they can give up 5 goals in a game like it's nothing. I'm gonna assume that they don't do it tonight, and I think they get the job done against the Kings. But going forward, this team still does scare me. I don't care if they win the series in 5. They're still. I mean, I don't trust this team at all.
Yeah, they need to catch fire, or I definitely wouldn't. I mean, I have them playing Colorado in the Western Conference Finals, and right now, I'd like Colorado to get to the Cup more than
Oh
Edmonton.
yeah,
But I do like Edmonton to close things out tonight. Same thing, obviously on the -1.5, like we said. I think this LA team's good. I just think they're a couple pieces away from hanging with some of these big dogs in the West. They're going to give them a run for their money every time. They did it last year against Edmonton, but I like this series to be wrapped up in 5 games. And then the other matchup that we said, Vancouver leads Nashville 3-2 in their first round matchup. Nashville wins a massive game 5, force that game 7 back in Nashville for game 6, where the Predators will have their backs against the wall with a chance to force a game 7. Do you think there's a chance the Preds can force this game 7, or do you like Vancouver go in there and handle business and force or close this up?
Ah, dude. I did take the Preds last game. I didn't actually take them, but I was texting my buddy about it, and I was like, I think the Preds can keep this series going on the road in this game. And they played well. I mean, they Saros had a great game, and they got the job done in a nice playoff 2-1 battle. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with the Canucks in this one, and they're just so much better. Like they're just clearly the better team in
Yeah.
this series, and they don't have the goaltending. Even though what's his name, Slovak,
So Silva,
whatever the
yeah,
fuck his name is.
Salavs or something.
He's
Yeah,
been playing well. He got a loss last game in a 2-1 game. Obviously not his fault, but I think the Canucks just outmatched the Predators in this series, and they
they
already
do.
won 2 games in Nashville. I think that they get the job done again, and then they get ready for Edmonton next round.
I'm gonna back these Predators one last time. I think they can. This is a huge game on home ice. I think it's what Friday night. This game is. I think it's not for a couple of days, 2 days at least. And then,
Is it? Yeah,
uh,
you're right.
well,
Wow.
they play last night,
Yeah, they did.
so they're all yeah. They're that's a flight and a half coming back
Yeah, I didn't
from
even think about how much of
Vancouver.
a
Yeah,
travel that is.
it doesn't surprise me they give them the 2 days because then Game 7 would probably be Sunday.
Yeah,
Does it
they
say?
don't give him the 3 days again. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Sunday. But
Yeah, I like this series to get to 7. I originally picked Nashville in 6. Obviously, they needed to pick up another game. They win a huge game 5 to stay alive here. The story of this series is going to come down to game 4. You blow a 3. What was it? 4-1, 3-1 lead,
3-1 with
3-0 lead,
3-1 with what, like 45 seconds left, I think, or no, maybe it
and
was
you give
more, but
no, it really was that it was that little, and you let up 2 goals, and then as soon as they tie the game with 8 seconds left, Vancouver's winning that game.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's over at that point, but
Yeah,
there was 2 minutes left, but I mean, you can't lose that, man. Like you can't. A
no,
playoff game, you're on your home ice,
not on home
and you
ice. You cannot lose that
and it's
game on
for
home
this
ice.
it's for the sweep on your own home ice. Like you
Yeah,
already lost the first game on your home ice. You have to win that. You're up 3-1. But yeah,
yeah.
that's the game that's going to change this entire series. And if they lose this in 6, it still changes the entire series. They lose it in 7, the series should have already been over. They probably should have won it. But I mean, that
'Cause Nashville, if they win, if they can just manage to close out that game, say Game 5 goes exactly how it did, they're coming home with a series with a
that's what
chance to
I'm
close out
it's
the series.
exactly what I'm saying. Like Nashville lost this series on that game alone. Especially with how game
Yeah,
5 went. You win game 5. So I
yeah.
mean, that that definitely was a series changer, momentum changer. But I mean, this Canucks team just has so much firepower up front. They even have it on the defensive side with a player like Quinn Hughes who can be that offensive factor and how good he is on defense. I mean, Canucks are shuffling goalies and they're getting the job done. I know they kind of
Yeah,
outmatched the
they're
Preds,
truly
but
just plugging anyone in and
then
getting it
again, you
done.
have Saros in the other net, and he can take over a game whenever he wants as well. So
Yeah,
again, I would not be surprised if the Preds even win this series, but I think that they can definitely force a game seven. But I mean, it can
yeah.
go either way. This is a series that I can't really get a grasp
Once
on.
once it gets to game 7, like, the same thing as you kinda said, Vancouver's already won 2 in Nashville. Vancouver or Nashville's won 2 in Vancouver. This has
Yeah,
been
you're
another
right.
one where a lot of the road teams have won
You're
games
right.
except for game 1.
You're right. Definitely. See, like home ice also isn't like it's not. I feel like it's so much more important in the NBA.
I was gonna say in the NFL,
Oh, yeah, definitely in the NFL, but I'm talking about like the
but I'm
two
saying,
playoffs
like,
right now. Like
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that home field, home
I
ice.
also think it's like, dude, like, once like we always say with college basketball, like, home court, home court. I just think, like, once you get to the playoffs, these teams that are still sticking around, they're so good, like, it matters, but, like, you see what the Avalanche went in and did to Winnipeg during that whiteout. Everyone talks about, "Oh, that's the craziest, playoff whatever, crowd." It's like, some of these teams, you can just tell they just don't give a
No,
fuck,
and
like,
I mean if you're playing
they
that
see it
well,
every night too, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think that's the other thing is that, like, when you're like, the NHL, you can just block that shit out. The NBA, you're on the
oh, yeah,
court. Like, you have to
yeah,
sit and look at a person who's, like,
yep.
face to face with you. Like, the NHL
You can hear everything
the
they're
NHL,
saying
you can
too,
block
like,
that shit out. You don't have to really pay attention to it, and, I mean, these guys are
yeah.
just so good, they can just take over, but
It's definitely nice to be on your home ice, but I don't think it's as big as a factor as, like, people make it seem,
agreed.
you know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
Especially in the playoffs. All right, yeah, we'll do the draft after the NBA. We'll keep rolling with the playoffs. NBA will start out west, where there's already 3 series wrapped up. That's why I want to start out west because it's a little more bit more already taken care of. Minnesota completes a series sweep of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and the Phoenix Suns through dominant performances by Anthony Edwards and averaging 31, 8, and 6.3 assists per game in round 1. Can this success carry over against these defending champion Denver Nuggets? What do you think?
Yes, 1,000%. I had this conversation with my buddy the other day. He said, "This Nuggets T-Wolves series is gonna be insane," and I was like,
This is must see TV for
and
me. These are like my 2 favorite teams this year, just because I love Jokic, and then I've obviously just been on the Timberwolves.
I said, "I really think the T-Wolves take it," and don't get me
How
wrong, I
many
am not
games?
discrediting the Nuggets at all right now, but, I mean, that series
6?
against the Lakers could easily have flipped like nothing. Like
Yeah.
nothing. Like, the
And
Lakers
I hate to be the guy that's like, "Yeah, the Lakers led for majority of the
that's what I
series."
was
Like,
gonna say, but, like, it's
but I
true,
know, but
bro.
like,
Like, it's
I know. But like last year, everyone was saying that was the closest sweep ever. It's like you still got swept.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're still coming
And
out
I'm
on the
not
wrong side of
exactly,
this thing.
exactly. I'm
Lakers blew multiple double-digit leads in third quarters and fourth quarters in that series. It's like they just weren't when it came push comes to shove. Like Denver was the better team in that series.
Well, they had the
You
support.
know
They
what
have
I
the
mean?
support. I mean, Michael
Exa-
Porter Jr. was
exactly.
shooting like 56%. Like it's like
You get 2 game winners from Jamal Murray. That makes
first
it a
time
5 game series
first
a
time
lot
a
better.
player has ever done that in the same series,
Yeah.
hit 2 game winners in the final 5 seconds. But my point is that this Nuggets team is beatable. It's not like last year where you were
I think
waiting
they are too.
you were waiting for them to walk through the West and get the job done. This team is definitely beatable, and you saw it last round. The Lakers could have been the better team. That series easily could have been flipped. You could be seeing a game 7. But
And if there's any team I think that can do it, it's this Minnesota team. You have Gobert and Cat down low. It's not just one big like in the Lakers. Like obviously they have LeBron, but like Anthony Davis's job was Jokic. If Jokic was getting around
and then what do
Anthony
you do
Davis,
about
who was
Aaron?
going in?
What do you do about Aaron Gordon? What do you do about Michael Porter
Exactly.
Jr.? The T
Exactly.
Wolves have those weapons. They have the guys who
They
can
have
match
the
up.
answers for them. Like Nas Reed coming off the bench, a bigger guy. Like Cat, Gobert, Anthony Edwards is playing out of his mind right now. If they can get a somewhat of a performance out of Jaden McDaniels that they've had, or throughout these 4 games, he's had a hell of a series. This team's clicking. They're just that fun team that no one saw coming. Obviously, I know they're a 3 seed. Everyone wanted to hate on them because they're young
I
and
did.
inexperienced.
I literally
Yeah,
did. I will be the first one to say that I did not
yeah.
see them coming out of the first round.
Yeah.
But
I just think the Phoenix team is like that's Brooklyn
first
2.0.
of all,
That's literally what.
I mean, it's just like it's a recipe for disaster. I mean, there's zero defense altogether on that team, and it's
Yeah,
just a bunch of ISO ball. Like, what are you gonna do? Walk up the court and just
dude.
like play one on one the entire time? Like a team like Minnesota who plays defense so well and they're so fundamental, you
Yeah,
can't do that anymore. It's not 2017. The NBA is,
I was gonna say it's not. It's such a different game. It's not just get 3 stars and fill the rest of your roster with minimum league or minimum contract
but
players.
the
Like,
thing was that worked 7 years ago. The NBA has advanced so much in that time that like you can't do that. You cannot build super teams. It's not
now
a recipe
now
for
you need
success
like
anymore.
now you need like A grade star, a second grade star, and like
The
4 good role
bench, you
players.
need the role players,
Yeah,
you need those supporting guys that are gonna get the job done, and the Lakers
yeah.
didn't have that, there was no way for it, but the
Like the
T-Wolves,
Knicks, Josh Hart,
dude,
like
the
all the
supporting players, like, even, like, Deuce McBride,
DiVincenzo,
dude, like,
like yeah.
he plays the final 8 minutes of every game because of his defense and how
He's my
hard he
favorite Nick, dude,
works,
just because he's from West
obviously because he's
Virginia.
from West Virginia, yeah, but, like, dude, he's, like and you have Dante DiVincenzo not even playing, that's how deep this Knicks team is, and that's why they're getting success,
Yeah.
but obviously that's a different story right now, but
Yeah. How many games do you think? Are you saying Minnesota in 6? Can they win this on home court, whatever the fuck it is? I think they get game 1 or 2 in
I'm
Denver.
gonna
They didn't struggle with Denver this year during the regular season. They had their
I
number.
don't think Denver is unbeatable at home either.
I don't think. Yeah. Let me look at the season series before I say that they didn't struggle with them. Because they came down to the end. There was a game with like each team had 2 games to go, and that game was basically for who got the division and got the 2 seed. You know what I mean?
Fuck, it doesn't say. You're gonna have to go through it.
No. I'm gonna try to find that game whenever that would have been. When did the playoffs start? The 20th?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think
Hold
it was
on,
the
I can find
20th.
this real quick.
Look up T Wolves Nuggets, whatever. Oh, wait, I think I'm close to it.
2-1.
Here it is. Nuggets win 2-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm at right now. I'm only
Oh, I'm at. It was a
2-2,
split, 2-2.
2-2. Yeah.
It was a
I mean,
split,
Denver.
2-2. Timberwolves 1-1 in Denver. Timberwolves 1-1 at home. They both went 1-1 on the home and or 2-2. Two. I can't talk. They both won in each city.
All I'm saying is
Jesus, so hard.
before the playoffs started, Denver was like, "All right, we get past the first round. I think we're good until
This is a cakewalk.
yeah."
Yeah.
Now I guarantee you they're in
They were looking at that bracket like the Edmonton Oilers are at that next matchup between Nashville and Vancouver.
exactly. And now it's a completely different scenario. Minnesota, I mean, I'd take them over OKC any day.
I would too. That's the matchup I'm hoping we get.
Yeah.
For how much I like Luka and like the Mavericks, and I'd love to see him go to an NBA Finals. I'd much rather see.
I don't think that team has it this year anyway.
No, I don't think so either.
But yeah, I
I
mean
just
the West has been good and it's only going to get better. I mean, this is going to be a
yeah
great second round.
yeah. That's definitely the matchup to watch. Obviously, it's one of the only ones that are locked in officially. But I mean, even just looking at the hypotheticals, that's definitely the best matchup in my opinion in the second round. But we'll head to the Oklahoma City Thunder completing the sweep of the Pelicans, becoming the youngest team to ever win a playoff series. OKC did not look like a younger team once these games started, picking up where they left off from this regular season. Key performances from Shy and the rest of the team. Jalen Williams had a huge part in this
Lou Dort
series.
on defense. Don't
Yeah,
overlook that
this
one.
young team, they really are just like a younger version of the Denver team. Like they don't have that true guy. I guess their guy is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's not a center that can do it all. It's kind of just they're so deep. They have so many young players. I don't know what they're going to look like against if they get the Clippers. I think that's a tough matchup for them in the second round.
Well, here's the thing about that first series is that I mean you're going zero experience against zero experience. Who did the Pelicans have? CJ
They
McCollum, who
beat
shit the
they
bed the
beat CJ
entire
McCollum
series.
and Larry
Yeah, I
Nance.
mean, and Brandon Ingram, who I don't even think has any playoff experience, but I mean, OKC took care of
He was
business.
on the Lakers.
We
They were
expected
terrible.
them to take care of business. They looked really good, though. They looked great, and there was obviously a lot of uncertainties about a young team going into the playoffs like that. They got obviously the best matchup they could probably get without being the Lakers or the Warriors because you don't want to see those veterans in the first round. But
Yeah.
they took care of business and they got the job done, and they got the support from all their players. Chad had a great series. Like I said, Lou Dort absolutely locked down Brandon Ingram. He was in shambles. I think he shot under 30% in the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shy doing his thing. They just got the help from all around. I think that they're bound for the Western Conference Finals. I think whoever they run into in the Western Conference Finals, they will lose to. But I think
Yeah.
that I don't know. I don't really think that they're gonna have a tough time against the Clippers and the
I
Mavs
don't.
because
I just don't think it'll. It's. I mean, for good reason. I don't think it's going to be as easy. Meaning, I don't. I think it'll take maybe 5-6 games, and I think 6 is being more generous.
yeah, I mean definitely. I wouldn't see that either of those series over in 5 to be honest. But I think that they will be the better team in both those series. And
They're so good on their. They're so good on their home floor that like I think they no matter which one of these teams they get, Dallas or uh LA, I think they could go up 2-0. It's just it's not like you if there's one thing you could point a finger out with a young inexperienced team, it's like when you're up 2-0, you can't go back to LA and let them win 2 straight games. You know what I mean? Like you steal one, you come back for game 5, let's try to wrap this up. Okay, if not, back to LA for game 6. Like you have 3 chances to win one game. Like, you know what I mean? They just got to win their first 2 games on their home floor. I love this Thunder team. I want to see them in the Western Conference Finals.
it,
I just it's scaring me. All these young teams are doing good. I know that's like the new age NBA, but I'm waiting for one of these teams that we've seen or been waiting on, like this Clippers team with Paul George, James Harden, all these stars to
the
possibly do something.
the
Like,
nerves are
I know,
I think the nerves are gone though. I mean that's the whole thing
oh
going in with
yeah,
a young team. And you said
that's why they got a good
you
matchup.
said
They didn't want the Lake. They would have lost to the
you
Lakers.
said going up 2-0, third game is huge. They won that third game by 21 points against the Pelicans. I know the Pelicans
That's what I said.
are a lot easier of a competition against the
Because
Clippers or the
wasn't game
Mavs.
2 the close one and we took them?
No, game 1 was close. But that's when we took them. They won by 2
We
points.
took them the first half and they won by 2
Right.
points.
And game 2 they won by 32 points. Game
I
3 by
remember last week
21.
on the podcast, I was like, they're gonna smoke them tonight, and it was like an 8.5 point spread, and I took it. And then I don't remember what game that was, though. 3 or 4.
Yeah, they absolutely
3, because we took them in game
yeah.
4 on the
Yeah.
card.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, this team, I mean, they keep proving people wrong. They proved me wrong. But I don't know. They're definitely gonna have a lot different of a matchup in the second round.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think the Western, like you have an Eastern Conference team, Ace has an Eastern Conference team. I think the Western matchups are so like much more exciting. Like I don't like watching this Bucks team. Like this Pacers team is
I mean,
Cleveland, Orlando.
the
Like
th-
that's a snooze
the
fest.
3-6-4-5 in the East just seems like so. You just know none of those teams are going anywhere. Like
Exactly.
Bucks, Cavs, Pacers, Magic. Neither of them are getting past the next round, in my
Like
opinion.
there's teams in the West that if you slid them over to the East as a 7 seed or an 8 seed, they might have had a better fighting
Oh,
chance. You know what I mean?
1,000%, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Lakers, Suns.
You throw the Lakers in that.
If you put the Mavericks over there, like
Yeah,
they'd be right there with your Knicks is probably the 2
they'd
seed or
probably
3
be
seed.
better. They'd probably be better.
Yeah. I just think that the West is kind of back to where like the NBA does shift so often. Like when we were younger, it was all the West was so good and it was just LeBron running through the East. Then the East got so good with like Philly, Boston, Miami at those years.
Even when like
Now
the
it's like
Pacers were good with Paul George, like
yeah,
East got good
Lance
for a little
Stevenson, Paul
while.
George, Hibbert. That was a good team.
But yeah, the West has
But
definitely been predominantly for our lives
yeah,
the powerhouse.
yeah.
But yeah, the West is gonna be
Um,
great for sure.
we'll get into some of these Eastern matchups. Celtics lead the Heat 3-1. Where Boston will have a chance to close out Miami tonight and await the winner of Cleveland, Orlando. I do think they handle business tonight. I might bet the -14. Do you
Yeah,
have any opinion on that?
they fucked around and they lost. I just think it's so funny how after game 1 there was so much about because they won by like 30 points or whatever. After game 1 there was
Yeah, it
like
was like this isn't
is
even a
Boston
series.
gonna lose a game this entire playoffs, or are they gonna lose a game at home this entire playoffs? And there's odds for it on everything. And then they fucking dropped one to the 8th seed Miami Heat by 10.
That's because it was the game after people
It's
were
just
posting.
like I don't I genuinely think the Celtics team is beatable, and I don't know if that's me just being hopeful that the Knicks can get there at some point and get a good matchup against them and win a few games, but
They are getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like they're not going to lose to Cleveland or Orlando.
absolutely not. They will get there 100%. But I
Yeah.
think that I mean like they're like people are acting like they're a shoo-in to win the NBA Finals. Like you're gonna run into a
The only
gauntlet in the
only
West
shot,
regardless who you play.
yeah, they're going to come in. They're running into the best team that came out of the better conference in the NBA Finals if they get there. But to your point, if they get to, so we're both saying they get there to the Eastern Conference Finals, they could. I seriously could see them lose to your Knicks. They play a better team game. They could isolate or I just combine Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They could isolate Jason Tatum, make it become Jaylen Brown's team. You saw what Derek White did. Yeah, he had a career night. Like, I almost bet Derek White's points under tonight. I'm like, this shit just doesn't
You
happen.
should.
Like,
That's a great
they took,
play.
they took away Tatum. It's really high, by the way, if you want to look into that. And the other one I liked was under on threes. But you take away Tatum, this team is so different. And it's like, I think your Knicks, they play so good defensively. I think obviously Brunson. I don't. Do the Celtics have an answer for Brunson? Are they going to put Holiday on him?
They do have. I mean, they could put Holiday on him, but first of all, there is no answer for Brunson. You can only contain him. Same thing with,
That's what I mean. Derek White, like that's what I'm saying. Like who's going on?
and we have the extra guys where like if Brunson's not doing everything, we can figure it out elsewhere. And you don't have Porzingis. Say you don't have Porzingis to start that series. We have two big men that can get the job done, and they will dominate Al Horford between the
I
two of
like
them.
what's his name, Robinson.
Mitch Robinson, yeah, he's a dog. He's
Yeah,
been taking care of Joel this series. Obviously, not taking care of him, but like containing him to the most that he can.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think that the Knicks can, without Porzingis, they can match up really well against the Celtics team, and they could definitely. I mean, even next series, I could see the Cavs win 2 games against the Celtics.
That would be
I'm not gonna
big.
say they're gonna
That
win
would
the
be big.
series, but I think they can definitely steal 2 and make them sweat.
Do you think the Cavs wrap that series? Here, I'll just get into this one. Cavs lead the Magic 3-2 as the series heads back to Orlando. Game 6 in Orlando. Do you think this young Magic team can force a Game 7 back in Cleveland?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, dude, that game,
Do you think just home teams win every game this
those
series?
games were so lopsided in Orlando, games 3 and 4, that I cannot see Cleveland going on the road and beating them in game 6. But I don't think
They got the job done
I
at home,
just
so it doesn't.
I don't think Orlando's going to be able to go into Cleveland and get a win either. Even though last game was
I
very
agree.
good, it was a close game. Evan Mobley with a huge game-winning block on Franz Wagner, but this is a good series, better than I expected. And after the first 2 games, I think a lot of people expected it to kind of get out of control. But Orlando's young and they're playing really good basketball.
I had Orlando plus 5.5. Was
You're
that
big
last
on this
night?
Orlando team, yeah, and you're definitely right
Yeah.
about them. They're definitely not no fluke. And we all said coming into the playoffs that like Orlando's lucky to be here. They had a great regular season, but they're done in the playoffs. They could win this
They
series. They
could.
could definitely win this
They
series.
could.
I don't think they
But
do, but they could
I
easily.
think they would truly get swept by the Celtics.
Yeah.
I would actually write
Yeah.
that off as a
I
sweep
think the
right now.
Celtics are hoping that the Magic win. I really don't think the Celtics
Yeah.
care who they play, but I think that
That'd be a cool uniform series. I will say that Celtics versus Magic. If you want to look at something cool about that series, it would definitely be the uniform.
yeah, for sure.
But I think Orlando ran into a tough matchup. Obviously, it's a younger team, but like Cleveland plays so defensively, but Orlando does the
What
same thing. So this is like two defensive teams playing each other. But Orlando has such young players that they're still making like these mistakes that Cleveland's been here, done that. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, like these guys played in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know what I
they've
mean?
been
Like
here before. They know the intensity.
in games 1 and
played in
2,
New
you could
York.
tell how inexperienced Orlando
They had to
was.
play in the Garden.
Yeah.
So they know the intensity and everything. Yeah, Orlando was obviously stunned. They had no idea what to expect. 97-83 in game 1, final
And then
score.
you did it. Did exactly what you need to do. Come home, win 2 games, win your home games, and that I think that's what I said last week. I was like, this series isn't going to start till a home team loses a game, and I truly don't think it's going to
Yeah, I
happen.
don't think it will
I
either.
think Cleveland wins in 7.
I agree with that. I think Orlando definitely wins game 6, but I think Cleveland takes care of business in 7.
What's the line on that game 6?
I'm
Is
gonna
that
say
tomorrow?
Magic -2.
I'm going to say -3. Yeah.
-4.5.
Ooh, that's a little steep, but I'll probably take it.
I don't know, dude. I mean, you look at the last 2 games they played at home. They won by 30 and 30 again.
Yeah, that's why it was scary when I took the +5.5 last night because
You figured Cleveland was just gonna take care of business at home.
no, I took the +5.5 and I was like, damn, I probably should just take the money line. Like Cleveland's either gonna blow them out like they did in what was it, game 1,
Game
or
1 and
Orlando's gonna win this game
Yeah.
outright. And I was like, fuck it, just take the points. Thank God they lost by 2.
that was a great play, yeah. But that was a great game.
I think Ace had Cleveland minus like 4.5. He bought like a point or something.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy points either, but I mean, sometimes it works out.
Yeah. I was gonna tease them with the Bucks, and I should have done it, but I mean I hit anyway, so it would have been the same payout.
Speaking of the Bucks, let's get into that series.
Yeah, we'll jump back to your Knicks. Pacers lead the Bucks 3-2, with the series heading to Indiana for Game 6. Do you like this young Pacers team to close this out? I think they kind of fucked up not closing it out in Game 5, giving that Bucks a chance. Is Lillard coming back? Is there any chance here?
Doc he has to say it, I think, but he's like, yeah, Giannis and Dame are both like on the verge of coming back. I think Giannis is done for the season. I honestly think he has no chance of coming back.
I truly think the same thing. I think if the Bucks win this series somehow, I think you would hear Giannis is out for game
Yeah,
one.
100%, definitely. But I think this is over in 6 as well. I mean, Indiana takes care of business at home. They're the better team also. Like I think they looked at the scouting.
I haven't watched a single game this series.
I watched game. I don't know.
I've been betting the Pacers. Like I've been betting the Magic and Wolves.
Yeah, the Pacers, like, I mean, dude, they're a good team. They really are. They have a lot of help. They have Nesmith, they have Siakam, they have Halliburton, obviously.
My favorite player on their team's hurt, Mathurin. I like him.
Benedict Mathurin, yeah,
Yeah,
he's a dog too.
he's
They get the depth and they put the ball in the hoop. They score a lot of freaking points, and if they're able to do that against this Bucks team again next game, Bucks don't have an answer. I know Middleton's been playing really well. Obviously with the loss of Dame and Giannis, he has to step up. But I mean, last game was kind of a fluke. Indiana was like, we have this in the bag. They're missing their two best players. Shit the bed. They're gonna have their head screwed on for this game, and I think it's over in
yeah,
6.
yeah. I think coming home, this is huge. That place is going to be rocking. When's the last time the Pacers have won a playoff series since that
Oh my
team we were
god, yeah,
talking about with Paul George?
probably 2014, 2013.
13, 14? Yeah.
But, I called this
Uh,
one, I did, I said Pacers in
yeah.
series.
It just seems so shaky to start, and then now you get all the injury news and Dame's out. It's like they just have to handle business on home floor, and they can like there's a we'll get into your Knicks series. There's a chance that goes 7, and they could wait on this next series.
Yeah, well, okay, let me hear your thoughts on the series before I dive into this one.
All right, Knicks lead 3 games to 2, heading back to Philly. As the 76ers win a huge game 5 in MSG to force that game 6. Tyrese Maxey takes over with 2 minutes left to force the overtime and eventually secure the win for the Sixers. Um, I'm still on the Knicks. I think you guys can go into Philly and get this win based on solely off what I saw from the Knicks faithful in Philadelphia in Game 4. I think you will
You
see
mean
the exact
you mean the Knicks' second home? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it looked like a home game for the
yeah.
Knicks. I think if I'm not even kidding, I think if they do that exact same thing, not like that's the only chance you have, but like that got under the Sixers' skin more than anything that the players could do. The first thing Embiid said after the game was, "You guys can't let this happen. That's disgrace." Like, play the fucking game, dude. You
You're
be
worrying
good. And
about
people
the
want to.
you're worrying about the crowd, man? Like
Yeah, like seriously, like that. It's back to like what we were saying. Like in hockey, you can zone that shit out. In basketball, they hear everything you
Yeah.
say, no matter how much they try to keep a straight face and like not pay attention. They hear everything those guys are yelling in the first bowl.
You wanna I don't know if you saw this. You wanna hear this, though? Michael Root
What's the line in Game 6?
for 3, 3.5, 3. Looking at
I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I'd probably take the
I
points.
think they
Though.
get the job done as well, but this
They're underdogs, right?
yes. But,
Yeah, I'd take the points, but I think they win the game.
speaking of, the crowd,
What did Michael Rubin do?
Michael Rubin and the Sixers ownership group are buying 2,000 tickets to ensure Sixers fans are in the building for Game 6 and limit the inventory for unpleasant Knicks fans to purchase on the resale market. You're that
The best
worried.
part-
You're that
Yeah,
worried. And then and another thing, purchasing by billing state for Game 6 of Knicks at 76ers. 34% from Pennsylvania, 24 from New York, 18 from New Jersey. You're outnumbered. You're almost outnumbered. You got to assume half of Jersey is going to be New York fans as well. I mean,
yeah,
the Knicks faithful does show up everywhere. They
yeah. I
will.
would say Jersey's probably split between the
Because you got
Philly and
South Jersey, that's obviously going to be all Philly. But I mean, I'm sure it's a good amount of New York fans as well. But I mean, they show up, they show out, and I mean, when you have to pay $450 to get into the Garden for a game, and you can go to Philly, drive 2 hours to go to Philly, and pay $95 for a game, why the hell wouldn't you? You know?
yeah,
But I think they get it over in 6 as well. I think that Tyrese Maxey is an absolute dog, like absolute
yeah. He's good.
dog, dude. And it wasn't even
He's so
last
good.
game. I know what he did last game was incredible. He had 48 points, 49 points,
Yeah,
whatever. Obviously hit that buzzer.
he's been good since Kentucky. We saw this coming. I just wish he was on any team other than the Sixers.
He
I do like him with Embiid. I just don't like the Sixers as a team.
he is a superstar. He will be a superstar in this league for the next 10 years, and I have nothing but high praise for him. Sorry he's gonna have to lose this series in 6 games, but he has a great upside for him in his career, and I really do like him. He's humble and everything. He's great, but I think it'll be over in 6. Give me the Knicks in 6. I talked a lot of shit. I really hope that they don't blow this.
Who do you think has a better future, Halliburton or Maxey?
Maxey by far. I think Halliburton is a fraud. Don't even let me get into Halliburton right now.
I kind of think he is too. He's like a fan favorite because he won that tournament, loves won or that All-Star thing. It was in Indy. The whole thing was like centered around him, so they were putting all the media around him. But like,
Dude, have you watched the
call
Pacers
me
game?
crazy,
Have you
like
watched one of the games in that series? He's a
no, I just
spaz, dude.
no.
He's just out there running in circles trying to find like a sick pass to give or a highlight reel.
Yeah,
Doesn't put the ball up. I'm like, dude, what are you out there doing? Like, you look like an
I'd even
idiot.
take like he's a little bit older, but like I'd still take like De'Aaron Fox over him.
Yeah,
Is that crazy?
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
Halliburton got so much hype for it. He had, don't get me wrong, he had a great like 20 game stretch, but he got,
it was literally just that in-season tournament. He went off in every in-season
yeah, it
tournament
was a
game.
little after that too. He did
Yeah,
have like a good stretch, but I mean, like everyone overreacted, acting like he's the next best thing. Like, relax, dude. Like, we know how many people go on 20 game stretches. Jeremy Lin's next best thing at that point.
yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not big on Tyrese Halliburton.
All right, we will. That's our recap. NBA and NHL first round. Looking into some of these second round matchups as well. Real quick, gonna jump into obviously we had the NFL draft last Thursday. Gonna go through some of these top picks and then any other ones we want to touch on. Mackie, I'll just rip through these top. We'll say 10. Number 1, Caleb Williams. Number 2, Jaden Daniels to the Commanders. Number 3, Aces, New England Patriots. Select Drake May, Marvin Harrison, Cardinals. Joe Alt, Chargers. Malik Neighbors, Giants. J.C. Latham, Tennessee Titans. The shocking pick of Michael Penix Jr. to the Falcons at number 8. Bears go and get a receiver at number 9 in Roma Dunze, and the Vikings trade up to lock down J.J. McCarthy at number 10. Did the Cowboys have a first round pick?
Yeah, they got
Tyler Guyton, the
Tyler
guard, the
Guyton.
tackle,
Yes.
and Steelers got a guard in Fatanu from Washington. Both just kind of filtering up that offensive line. Steelers did the same thing in the second round. Zach Frazier from West Virginia. I like the Roman Wilson pick from Michigan, going kind of leaning on my Steelers, but I think the Steelers had a hell of a draft. Obviously, a lot of these loser draft analysts seem to think so too. So when their grades are good for your team, you like them. When they're not, you don't think they're as smart. But I definitely like what the Steelers are doing from an approach standpoint in the draft. Got a lot of. They're just building this offensive line, and obviously we have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Neither of them are looking like long-term answers for the Steelers. As they didn't pick up Justin Fields' fifth-year option was pretty interesting to me. I thought they were going to do that, but you saved 20-some million there. I like what these Steelers are doing. What do you think about your Cowboys bringing back Zeke Elliott and not going after a guy like Blake Corum? Like, what was it?
I think they've kind of had this plan for a while now without going after any of the big names. They turned down Henry before, or they didn't even turn him down. They just never reached out. They had this plan for a while, and
I think it's better to say you never reached out than to reach out and get shut down.
yeah, well,
Personally,
obviously, yeah. But they never had interest in it. They didn't want to pay the big bucks for the running back, and I understand they have a lot of fucking people to pay, but they got him for $3 million, which is crazy because they're actually paying him $9 million. So you're paying him $6 million for his last contract and $3 million for his new contract. So
really,
yeah,
you guys are still paying him when he
we're
left?
paying him double from his old contract to three than what we're paying him now for him to play now, which is insane.
That's half the reason. That's half the reason they brought him back. They were Jerry Jones is like, if I'm paying you, you're
You're gonna
fucking
play for me. Yeah. But I like it. I think he knows the offense. He knows the team. We know him. He'll be a good addition. He's not who he used to be, obviously, but he can still get the job done. And
Oh yeah, he's still gonna get the job
and
done.
I mean,
I think.
Dak throws the ball 40 times a game, dude. Like he's not. It's not a run heavy offense where you need a running back like that. I don't think our offense is a problem. I don't think that's what needs to be switched up. But I like what the Cowboys did. It's just, I mean, I have no faith in this team, no matter what.
You guys didn't need much. You have the quarterback. You have the receiver. You
We needed
have
the
your running
tackle.
back. You don't have a running back in Pollard. I almost said that. You still have Ferguson. Yeah, you guys just need to do what the Steelers are doing. Just build the offensive line. Like
Mhm.
it's almost like I like when it's like when in doubt, pick an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. You will never be mad at that pick.
Right, exactly. You lose
Like,
Tyron Smith, you gotta get somebody.
yeah.
But
Like anyone can take a chance on one of these flashy receivers or like a corner that could get burnt every fucking play in their rookie year, and it's like everyone's calling him a bust 3 weeks into his NFL career. It's like, dude, you're throwing a 19-year-old guy that played 2 years of college football out to the fucking. He's guarding
up
Devontae
against
Adams
Pat
on
Mahomes,
Sunday afternoon. Yeah,
it's like, how do you expect this guy to go in there and compete in an NFL game? Just like a snap of his
The one
fingers, but
the one that I was really surprised that they fell this far um, was he the first defensive player off the board?
16 or something
Damn,
like that.
17, Dallas Turner, that's
Yeah, he
crazy.
was. Yeah, 'cause I remember
Or Byron Murphy was the first.
15.
Wait, no, there was 3, it went 3. I don't know why I thought Dallas Turner was gonna get picked in, like, the top. I thought he was gonna go to
Well,
Atlanta at
nobody
8.
expected there to be 13 straight offensive picks, and nobody expected. Yeah, I mean, nobody.
Then everyone was scrambling for the defensive guys. Colts go and get that Latu. Seahawks go get Byron Murphy from Texas. Vikings trade up to get Dallas Turner. And the one that I was waiting one more pick that I would have loved to get is Jared Verse from Florida State. The Rams got him the pick
I
before
did
us.
see
I
that.
think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be a fucking animal from Florida State. He's so good. I think that's a good spot for him to go to out there with the Rams. He wouldn't have had a really spot here with Highsmith just getting his contract and Watt, but I'd never say I'm also the type of person that's like take the best player available. Like I don't care who's on
Yeah,
your
definitely,
roster. Take the
definitely.
best player available. Like I don't care if you need a guard. Like if you're reaching on a guard or you can take an edge rusher that's the best player sitting on the board, like I'm taking the best player. Like we'll figure the contracts and shit out later. Like you can make him an outside linebacker.
Exactly. You can always plug him in somewhere else if he's the best player on the board. He's probably
Or he put some weight on, get your ass on the D line. You're playing D end. Like
yeah. Agreed.
these guys will figure it out.
Um,
That was the one that kind of killed me. I wanted I would do when Dallas Turner started to fall and fall and fall, and then I saw the Vikings have traded for this pick. I was like, here it is.
yeah,
He's
he's
right here.
getting picked up.
Yeah.
What do you think of?
He was wearing that ugly ass green suit. You see that dumbass suit he was wearing?
No, I didn't.
It was like pistachio green, dude. It was terrible. He went on that. Did you see CJ Stroud and Michael Parsons on that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
draft call thing?
Uh,
Like they were reacting
dude,
to
I
the
love
picks.
them. I they go at it
They,
like
they are
they're like a
so they're so
they're
funny.
like they friendly go at it, but they do go at it. It's so funny,
I
dude.
like the after this, I'll get to the other one that I like the clip that I saw. But they like FaceTime Dallas Turner or Micah like got a call from Dallas Turner, like called him into the show. And Stroud Parsons asked him something like, "Oh, congrats, that's huge, congratulations, all this shit." And CJ Stroud goes, "Dude, you arguably have the worst outfit at draft night."
No
The
way! I
first
didn't see
yeah,
that.
yeah, dude, it was something like that. It was so
That's so
funny.
funny.
And then the other one that I saw was I don't know what if it was the same. Are they on like a
Yeah,
podcast
they
together? Or are
they
they just hanging
they
out
do
all the
more
time?
than just that. Just the draft night. They've done a
That's weird. Ohio State and
Penn
Penn
State.
State to Dallas and Houston. Like they're not in the same conference, but like
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
is
It's just
weird, but
weird.
I think they're both like vocal. Like
Yeah,
Parsons has
and
his
like
podcast.
offense, defense. Like it's not like they work out together.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he's like,
it is
"Oh,
really
Stroud, come throw balls
it's a
for me."
really
Like
weird combination. Maybe they like played in
yeah,
high school together or something.
the one the one that I saw was someone asked Mike Parsons, "What do you think you would average in an NBA game?" He goes, "Oh, I'm getting 20." And CJ Stroud literally just goes, "Oh my
Yeah,
god."
dude, they always just roll their eyes at each other. Did you see the one where
He's like,
they were talking about how stacked Ohio State's offense was, and Mike was like, "Damn, dude, and no championships, no Big Ten championships." He's like, "Shut up, bro. What did you do?"
"Yeah, what did you win at Penn State? Nothing." Like,
That's so funny though. They just go at it.
yeah, that I didn't know that they have like a show together. I thought it was just something for the
I don't know if
draft.
they have a show together, but I know Micah Parsons has his show, and I
And
know
he probably just always has
and
CJ
CJ
Stroud on the
Stroud
team.
likes to do podcasts. He's done a few, but
Or they probably both work out in like Florida and they're
yeah,
not even in Dallas and
yeah.
Houston. Like they're you
There's
know what
got
I
to be
mean?
something there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
that's good. Good content.
yeah, not much in the world of
Oh yeah,
baseball.
what
We
do
have
you
our
think
power
of
rankings that we didn't review on
one
any
one
sport.
thing I wanted to ask you was what do you think of JJ McCarthy to the Vikings?
I think that's the most expected spot that he could have went to.
Do you think
Do you think
do you
so?
like what do you think Justin Jefferson does with this? Do you think he wants out?
I think
If
if
you're Justin
things get
Jefferson, you
ugly,
do not want that's not who you wanted as your quarterback.
no, no. I think if things get ugly in the first couple weeks of the season, like
He's gonna
I
get
would
vocal
yeah.
for sure. I agree.
Receivers do it every year. There's always a guy
Especially
that
like
does it.
him, like he just like he's allowed to, man. Like he
Yeah, you can't
give
waste
him
his
a damn
talent.
good quarterback. I mean, you can't waste his years.
The worst part is he's looking at his teammate, his old college teammate Jamar Chase with fucking Joe Burrow his whole
And he
career.
wants to be there.
Been to a Super Bowl,
He even
like
said he was
yeah.
jealous.
Believe me, I do not want him to go to Cincinnati. That's one last thing I want to deal with twice a year as a Steeler fan is
Listen,
watching them.
since he would have to give up a lot to get Jamar Chase, Joe
Oh,
Burrow,
they
and
would never first round pick for the next 5
or
years.
they would just
If
wouldn't
they
have a
leave.
line, or they wouldn't have any defense, or
Yeah,
they would
yeah,
it wouldn't work out.
yeah. They're too smart. No NFL team would actually give up that many picks. The only guy that's worth that is like Mahomes.
Yeah, because you can literally change the game. Justin Jefferson's a
Yeah,
receiver. He can't change. He's not involved in every play. You can't
yeah,
have that much of an impact.
yeah. All right, real quick for the MLB, we'll go over our power rankings. We kind of went through the NHL and NBA. We don't really need to
We're
as much
good,
for the
yeah.
playoffs, but power rankings in the MLB: number 5, the Philadelphia Phillies; number 4, these Cleveland Guardians that keep winning games; number 3, Baltimore Orioles; number 2, the New York Yankees; and the number 1, Atlanta Braves in back-to-back weeks. Um, Cleveland, I don't know if it's because I was with Addison, but I feel like I watched the Cleveland Guardians all last weekend. But dude, they're good. They go into Atlanta, get a series win. Like I'm waiting. You when I got the news that Bieber was done, I was like, oh, this team's gonna kind of filter off. But they're in such a bad division that their matchups that they get every night are friendly for them. They're favored almost every night.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is it's a long season. I don't see this team being at the top by the end of it. But I mean, they're definitely proving a lot of people wrong. And Twins were expected to win this division, and
Yeah,
Guardians are clearly the best team in this division, and I think
yeah.
they'll definitely be in the playoffs. But I don't think that they'll be top 3 team in the league by the end of the season.
No, I agree.
But they're
I
they're
agree.
they definitely have the roster. The bats are going, the pitching's going, even without their ace. I really have nothing bad to say about them just yet. I'm just kind of hating on them a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, and Philly getting back to, I think they were on our list last week, or maybe not yet. This might be their first time getting back to kind of what we all expected of them. Yankees, Braves. I think we said those two will probably be sitting there most of the year. We did say the Dodgers probably wouldn't fall off this list. They haven't been making too much noise the past couple of weeks, but I think a solid list. Obviously, MLB, like you said, such a long season. Take these for what it's worth. It's obviously, like we said, May first week of May going into the MLB season. We're about a month and a half in. We've seen my Pirates on this list. They're far from here now. Like we said, we'll see how these teams keep up. Obviously, getting MLB plays out, on the social medias whenever we see them. Hit on the Brewers today. What's Aces? What was the other play he
Phillies
sent?
-1.5. So they're up 2-1 before we started.
Phillies minus one
They're
and a
still up
half.
2-1,
That is
top 8.
okay. That's not looking
Uh,
good. So looking like a 1-1 day. Hopefully
not gonna
not.
call it yet,
Um,
but yeah,
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 not gonna call it yet, just because they could hit a solo shot. That'd be nice, but not
be
a good
awesome.
chance. But yeah, MLB card's been doing pretty well. NBA card, obviously getting them out there in the NBA playoffs. Haven't had too many NBA plays throughout the regular season, but uh, in the playoffs, obviously locking in on some of these good matchups. NHL, same way, getting a lot of plays out. So make sure you're staying tuned to the social medias. Other than that, I think that's all we got. Gonna try to get a live stream out, get some picks going in the next couple of days to preview some of these second round matchups. But if you got anything else to add, go right ahead.
No, I just saw a report that says the Knicks are willing to offer almost anything to pair Devin Booker and Jalen Brunson. Not the biggest fan of that, but I don't have to get into that now. But that's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't love that first reaction.
Yeah,
I don't love Book.
dude, what's like? We don't need your points, dude. You're playing zero defense. The Knicks are just so sound defensively. I don't know. I feel like it'll mess things up.
What's crazy is like now that we're going back to basketball, is I look back at like remember when KD was supposed to get and everyone was supposed to go to the Knicks that year when they all went to Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I truly think if KD would have went to the Knicks, he would have never went to Phoenix, and he would still be with
Dude,
the
I think the
Knicks.
Knicks would be. He would have excelled in the Knicks. They would
Yeah,
have won.
that's what I'm saying.
Then
This
you
is
build
he's
around
now
him, and I mean that Knicks team they drafted well as well. So I mean,
he's gonna be on his sixth team. That's crazy. Like for a superstar like him to be on going on his 60, it's like as soon as something doesn't work, he's like, I'm out.
yeah, and it really is killing his legacy because I used to say he was, dude, like coming off of Golden State, he was a top 15 player of all time, and it's only going
Yeah,
down. It's only
I was gonna say he's not helping his
he's
case at
not.
all,
He's really not at all.
and he just got swept to a younger, like a way young, inexperienced
Dude, he's
team, like
won 2 playoff rounds since leaving the Warriors.
since Golden State. Yeah,
Listen, that year that they lost to the Bucks in 7, whoever
if
won
his
that
toe was a
whoever
size
won that
smaller,
series was gonna win the champ. What'd you say?
I said if his toe was only a half size smaller.
That foot on the line, I forgot about
Yeah,
that. But if whoever won that game was gonna win the NBA championship, but I mean he didn't. They lost the game and they didn't win it,
yeah.
and this
The Bucks did, and they
not
won.
adding
Right.
to your resume, and you haven't done anything since. So on a bunch of super teams
Yeah,
nonetheless. So that's
we're definitely gonna dive into. We'll have some fun with some of this NBA offseason rumors and stuff once the playoffs comes to an end. Obviously, LeBron with his $50 million player option for the Lakers to come back or retire. He's been all over the news making all these annoying ass comments, but no shot he retires. But we'll see what comes of this in the next coming weeks. Like I said, make sure you're following us on social medias. Other than that, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week for the podcast. Hopefully, you have Jesse and Ace back with us. Get a full crew going, recap round two, look ahead for some of these Eastern and Western Conference matchups for the championships. But other than that, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.